Okay, your Chapter 10 test review. Number 1 just basically says find the measure of angle B. So if you remember correctly, to find the measure of angle B, if you go and look at your solution guide, it just kind of reminds you of the fact that to find the measure of angle B, it says to find the angle, remember that a straight line forms a 180-degree angle. So subtract the angle from 180 to get the answer. So if you look back at your problem right here, you're going to notice that this right here does form a straight line. And so all you're going to have to do to go ahead and find this is just remember that a straight line is 180 degrees. We're going to subtract the 110 degrees. And when we subtract the 110 degrees, it comes out to be, looks like 70 degrees. So take your calculator and subtract that if you need to. So on your calculator, just take 180 minus 110. And you're going to get a total of 70. And that would be your answer for number 1. Is going to be 70 degrees. So then on number 2, it says find the value of x. So again, you're going to notice that you do have a straight line here. So we know that the straight line is going to add up to be 180 degrees. So we know that this total is 180. So all we have to do is just add these two together, set it equal to 180. So we're going to take 3x plus 1. We're going to add x minus 17 to it. And set that equal to 180. Now we're just going to go ahead and solve it. So you'll notice you're going to take the 3x plus x, you're going to add those together, and it's going to give you a 4x. You're going to take the 1 and negative 17, add those together, so 1 minus 17 is going to be negative 16. All equals 180. Now that you've combined your like terms, go ahead and add 16 to both sides. So adding 16 to both sides, you're going to get 4x, all equals 196. And then divide both sides by 4. So then just take your calc and take 196 divided by 4, and you'll find that value of x. So take your calculator, and I'll just move it over to the other side so you can still see our problem. I'm going to take 196 and divide that by 4, and that's going to come out to be, it looks like, 49. So your answer is going to be x is equal to 49. So let's look at this next problem. Now notice this time, we've got this little box right here. This little box means that that's going to be a total of 90 degrees. So that means that if I add those two angles together, it has to equal 90 degrees. So I'm just going to take 32 plus 4x plus 2. And set it equal to 90. So combine your like terms together. So we're just going to take the 2 and the 32 and add them together, and we're going to get 4x plus 34, all equals 90. Now that we've combined our like terms, go ahead and subtract the 34 from both sides. So this is going to come out to be a little bit different. So let's go ahead and make that correction right here. So I'm going to take 90 minus 34. So let's clear this out and type in 90 minus 34. I'm going to take 90 minus 34. We're going to get a total of, it looks like 56. And so we get 4x all equals 56. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide by 4. And I get x equals 14. So that would be our answer. X equals 14. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. So on this next one, on number 4, it says find the measure of angle B. Well, again, we just need to remind ourselves that a triangle, all the angles of a triangle, well, they're going to equal 180 degrees. So if I take all my angles and add them together, it has to equal 180. So it looks like I've got a B for one of my angles. I've got a 45 for another angle. I've got a 45 for another angle. So I'm just going to go ahead and add those together and then subtract from 180. So I'm going to get 180, all equals B, and 45 plus 45 is going to be 90. So I'm going to subtract 90 from both sides to find out what my answer for B is going to be. So you can just take your calculator again, take 180 minus 90, and that looks like B is going to come out to be 90 degrees. And that'll be your answer. On number 5, This time, again, we still have our triangle, so it's still going to add up to be 180 degrees. But this time, we're just solving for x, because notice the directions say solve for x, find the value of x. So I know that x plus 32 plus 36 plus 81, that has to equal 180. So now add those three angles together. So we're just going to take 32. I'm going to add that to 36. I'm going to add that to 81. And that looks like that comes out to be 149. So I'm going to get x plus 149 all equals 180. So now that I've added those three angles together, 32 plus 36 plus 81, I got 149. Now to finish solving this, I'm just going to subtract 149 from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 149 from both sides. That's going to give me my value of x. So again, just take my calculator, take 180 minus 149. That's going to come out to be 31. So the value of x is going to be equal to 31. Okay, now number 6 says find the measure of angle B. So here we've got our triangle. It also has a straight line coming off of it. So we've got to find that angle that's on the inside of it. So again, a straight line, 180 degrees. So we're going to go and take 117 plus B said equal to 180. I'm going to subtract 117 from both sides to find out that measure of angle B. So again, just take your calculator, go and take 180, and now we're going to subtract 117 from it. I'm going to take 180 minus 117. Looks like that answer is going to come out to be 63. So there's your answer of 63 degrees for number 5. Or sorry, number 6. So now looking at number 7. Setting up our proportions to find our missing sides of this similar triangles. So notice that your proportion, you're going to go from small for triangle to bigger triangle. So those two are correlating to each other. And then also these two are correlating to each other. So 3 to x. I'm going to go ahead and set this up. So when I set this up, I'm going to rewrite this as 4, which would be the smaller triangle. 24 is a larger triangle. So notice I'm going from smaller to bigger. All equals 3 all over x. Now to solve this, whenever you have a proportion, you're just going to go ahead and cross multiply. So I'm going to take this times this. It's going to equal this times this. So 4 times x all equals 24 times 3. So I'm going to get 4x. I'm going to take 24 times 3. Type that in my calculator, and it comes out to be 72. So I got 4x all equals 72. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Now I'm going to take 72, divide that by 4. And that's going to come out to be 18. So the value of that missing side is going to be 18. Okay, number 8. Another similar triangle right here. And notice you can either go from small to big or from big to small. Doesn't really matter. But we'll just keep it consistent. So notice this 1 is going to match up with this 11. And then also this x is going to match up with the 110. So I'm going to go ahead and just set up my proportion. So I'm going to put the small triangle in the numerator, the bigger triangle in the denominator. All equals the small triangle in the numerator. And that's all over my big triangle, which is in my denominator. Once I'm done doing that, just do some cross multiplication. So I'm going to take this times this, all equals this times this. So I got 11x, all equals 1 times 110. So 1 times 110 is just 110, so I got 11x equals 110. I'm going to take that 11x and divide both sides by 11. So I'm going to get 110 divided by 11. And so 110 divided by 11. Take a calculator. Just go ahead and type that in. Take 110 divided by 11. And that's going to come out to be 10. So the answer to that problem right there, on number 8, that x value is going to equal 10. Okay, now looking at this problem right here on this next one, it says find the height of the lamp post. So again, you're going to notice that you've got a smaller triangle inside of here. And so the smaller triangle is sitting right here. So here's my smaller triangle. And then that's going to be in proportion to my larger triangle, which is this one right here. So notice, we're going to set up our proportion the same way. We're still going to go smaller triangle to bigger triangle. So I'm going to go 5 all over x, all equals. And now I'm going to go from smaller triangle. So the smaller triangle right here is 6. And this larger triangle is actually 6 plus 9. So 6 plus 9 for my larger triangle. I have to add those two together. So I've got 5 over x, all equals 6, and 6 plus 9 is going to be 15. So now again, cross multiply. So I'm going to take this times this, all equals this times this. So I've got 5 times 15, all equals 6 times x. So now take your calc and take 5 times 15. That comes out to be 75. So that's 75 all equals 6x. I'm just going to go ahead and divide both sides by 6. So when I divide both sides by 6, so now I take 75, divide by 6, and it comes out to be 12.5. So x is equal to 12.5, and it looks like we are in feet. So the height of that lamp post is 12.5 feet. Okay, then on number 10, it says use the Pythagorean theorem to find each missing side. So notice your Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared all equals c squared. And this side is a right here, this side is b, and this side is c. To go ahead and use your Pythagorean theorem, it's just a matter of substituting it in. So I'm going to put in 8 in place of my a. In place of b, I'm going to put a 5. And c is what I'm looking for. So now I just need to take 8 squared. So 8 squared, take your calculator. If you can't remember what 8 squared is, just hit 8, hit your squared key, hit enter, so that's going to be 64. Now take 5 squared, so 5 squared, which is going to be 25, all equals c squared. Now we're just going to go and add those two together. So 64 plus 25, 64 plus 25 is equal to 89, all equals c squared. So now to get rid of the squared sign, I just take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 89 equals the square root of c squared. So that's going to simplify that down to c. I'm just going to type in my calculator the square root of 89. Go ahead and hit enter. So I got the square root of 89. Hit enter. And that comes out to be 9.4. So that's the answer to number 10 is 9.4.